Good morning and welcome back to Beach Talks with the Barber Coach. If this is the first time you've come across these videos, then you may want to go back to video 1 and 2 that explains a bit about what I'm doing and why I'm doing it. I spent a lot of time on video 2 explaining and repeating what I'd already said on video 1 last time, so I'm not going to do it again this time. So my name is Matthew Gary and I'm the Barber Coach. I'm lucky enough to live by the beach, and I just spend some time in the mornings once a week walking, talking to the camera about barber related subjects, business related subjects, and I'm going to be touching on some mental health related subjects in the future. And all you need to do is message me on Instagram, the_barber_coach, with any questions or concerns you may have, and I'll do a talk on it. And it's as simple as me walking and talking on the beach. I've normally got my dog with me. I haven't got him today, just because I want a bit more focus as I'm speaking to the camera, because last time he was very distracting, but he will be back. And today's topic is a question that I get asked quite a lot from newer barbers, is how quick can they expect to earn good money? Now obviously barbering is a career and it is a paid job, so you would expect to earn money, obviously, but if your main focus is making a lot of money fast, then barbering isn't for you. And I did touch upon this a little bit on my second video. The second video I talked about different ways to make a start in the barbering industry, how you can get started, ways of getting qualified. But the second most popular question I get asked is, how do I make a lot of money fast? So let's start from the basics. So if you're an apprentice barber, you've normally got to do 2 years as an apprentice on apprenticeship wages. Now under the age of 18 you're only going to be taking home about £40–50 a week. If the salon owner decides to top it up a little bit, that's up to them, but as a 16 to 18 year old you normally get traineeship options while you're still in college. You do a few days a week in the barbers or the salon and you'd be lucky to pick up much more than £50. Now on a proper apprenticeship, normally from the age of 18 up, you'll start on an apprenticeship hourly rate, which I'm not sure the exact amount now, but it has been in Wales, in the UK, about £3.50 an hour. It's not much. I think it may be over £4 now, but we're talking those sort of numbers, you know, as an 18-year-old apprentice. If you're lucky enough to get an apprenticeship under the age of 18, great, you know, you'll be on £4 odd an hour. But a lot of the time, as people leave school between 16 and 18, they get put on a traineeship, which is supplemented by the college, which isn't a lot of money at all, but you're technically still classed in education, so you're getting paid £50 a week to learn, basically. But you might find you'll have a good boss or manager that will, you know, top it up if you work really hard. So, you know, there's a lot of hard work involved to get paid a little bit of money, and that's the truth of it. So if you're looking for employment, you know, after your 2 years apprenticeship, you're looking then to get employed in a barber role. Then you're looking sort of starting off at £10 to £12 an hour as a junior barber. You know, working up to sort of £15 an hour then as a more senior barber. Obviously, this rate changes in different areas. You know, there's different pay rates in different counties and countries. You know, but give or take, you're sort of looking around the sort of maybe 15 to 18, and 15 in Cardiff, 18 in London, for example. You know, as an employed barber. Now, obviously, if you're very experienced, you know, very established with a big clientele, and you've got a lot of return customers, you know, you can then you would normally be advised to move on to a self-employed rate, you know, where you'll do a commission share or a rent-a-chair option. But in employment, there are very few companies that are going to be paying more than 30k a year. So just be aware of that if you want to go into employment, and that's a good salary. You know, that's a good tidy average salary if you're happy doing your 9 to 5 barbering and you don't want the pressure of running businesses. Then you know, if you're lucky enough to find a company willing to pay an employed rate, then, you know, it's not a bad salary. You will normally find though that after reaching a level of experience, most companies will advise you to go on to a commission share basis, then, where you will be self-employed using their facilities excuse me, and paying them a percentage rate then of what you earn. And that does make life a bit easier for employers and shop owners, you know, with regards to pensions and holidays and sick pays and things. Once you're making enough money, they'd like you to move on to that generally. Now, how can you make a lot of money doing that fast? Well, the newer you are, the longer it's going to take. If you have, so I'm talking about self-employment now, we've covered the employed rates. You know, if you're lucky enough to get an employed job, that's what you're looking at. Self-employment is the most popular option in barbering. Now, if you're, I don't know, early 20s and you've done an apprenticeship and you've got a good level of skill and you're a team sports player and you're very popular when you were in school and you've got a lot of friends and things, the reality is you'll normally pick it up quicker, or pick up your income quicker, I should say, than maybe someone who's new to the area, not taking part in sports, team sports, not very popular in school. What you generally find is, this is what I found through my experience, the sort of people who are potentially extrovert, mix with a lot of people, have a lot of friends, they generally get busier quicker because their friends, are happy to give them a go to practice on them. You know, they want to support their friends. You generally do pick up a clientele quicker. Now, obviously, the better you are, the more likely you are to generate returning customers. But the truth is, it doesn't come down to skill all the time. It comes down to personality. I've had barbers work for me who are, solid barbers, 6 or 7 out of 10. Okay, strong in certain areas, maybe not in others, but they were really good at speaking with the customers. They had really good presentation skills. They offered a really good experience to the customers in their shop. They understood the customers well. They could adapt from one client to another. They made the customers enjoy the experience, and they might have only have given them an average haircut, but it was good enough. I wouldn't have let them leave the shop if it wasn't good enough. But not maybe someone completely naturally talented, but someone who's worked hard and provides a decent service but has a great personality. They were always fully booked. I've had barbers work for me who are absolutely unbelievably talented, crazy skills, methods, fast at cutting hair, just all-rounders, but couldn't talk to people, and struggled when it come to the presentation side of things and the personality side of things because they were more introvert. And they took a lot longer to build a clientele. So there's a few factors that come into it. It's how good you are and how quick you've picked your skills up. So if you're asking me how fast it takes or how long it takes to earn good money in barbering, then there's a very good chance you're a newer barber. So if you are just starting off, then you're looking at, up to 6 months to start building any form of clientele that's returning. And if you're only getting 10 returning a week after 6 months, which is quite good for a returning clientele for a trainee, you're averaging, say, we'll just call it round numbers, £20 a haircut. You're limited to how much money you can make a week. You're making £200 a week there just doing 10 haircuts. That's less than most minimum wages. But if you love the job and you stick it out, maybe after 12 months you can start making a lot more. So if you're a senior, if you're older, if you're in your 30s, 40s and you're starting this as a career, then you want to be looking for employment. And you're looking at £12, £15 an hour. And in employment then you can build a clientele, you can learn the trade, learn your skills and earn an average income. But then it's going to be hard for you to find employment, like off the last video I did, if you are newer. And if you don't have much experience, because most barbershops aren't really bothered about qualifications so much, they want to see that you've actually had experience in applying a range of haircuts and fades on a range of customers, rather than the paper qualifications that you have, So it is going to be very, very difficult. But if you're very, very popular, and I generally find that people who take part in team sports generally have a bigger client base faster, because the colleagues, associates, team members will come and support them and join them. So it allows then the barbers to learn faster and try things out and build up a clientele quicker. So my advice to you is, if you're new to an area and you don't know many people and you don't have many friends and you've just qualified and you want to start earning money fast, then join a sports team, join a club with a lot of people, find hobbies that involve making lots of friends. join a church, you know, these sort of things, and get to know people, because you've got to get a base of friends and family to start supporting you before you can then start generating organic clients. And organic clients generally come from word of mouth and social media. And if you're in a very busy barbershop and the other barbers are really good and they are busy, then sometimes then if you're patient, you will pick up some of their overspill and they will stay with you if you're good. But one thing I really want you to take from this is don't panic too much about skills and ability. Don't compare yourself to maybe some of the more senior and experienced barbers in the shops. Your skills will develop through experience. It'll take time, but it will come as long as you stick it out. But the one thing you do need to focus on straight away from the start is customer service. Communication, quality of your service, the experience that you're giving your customers, your presentation skills, and just your all-round shop manner and mannerisms will help you build a clientele quicker than potentially your haircuts. You know, to get people through the door, they've got to like you. You know, once they're in your chair and they like your haircut, then there's a very good chance they're going to come back to support you. But it's going to be hard to get them in your chair if you're not a very likeable person. So if you're feeling, oh, you're watching this, so actually I'm a bit of an introvert and I don't really want to be going out there making loads of friends, but I like the idea of cutting hair, then look, search around for a job, a barbershop that's employing people in a big city where you're going to get a lot of turnaround of customers passing through the door, and it's very unlikely to have the same customer coming back every single week. You know, there are barbershops with a lot of passing trade in cities, holiday towns and things, where you're not likely to see a lot of the same people very often. And in that respect then, it really just comes down to your skills, you know. But if you're in a village or smaller towns where you're relying on return clientele, and maybe you want to look at stepping out of your comfort zone a little bit. Taking up activities is going to cause you to be more extrovert and come out of your shell and learn to communicate. There's some of the best barbers I've got working for me, when they started off, they were young, they had no confidence, they couldn't look you in the eyes when they were speaking to you, they were socially awkward, but you know, I was patient with them and I put them in situations where they had to step up and come out of their shell a little bit, and they might not have been comfortable at the time, but now they're some of my best barbers. Fantastic barbers, and you should see them with people, you should see them communicating, you should see their shop presence. They are superb. If you'd have seen them 5 or 6 years ago, you would have said this person is going to last 5 minutes. So it is doable, but how long is it going to take you to make money? So realistically, what I always tell barbers is there's always like a 3-month loop. So this is more for self-employed barbers. Now, if you're just starting off, if you're new and you're starting in a salon, are you quite happy, you're confident with your skills? It's going to take you at least 3 months just to get a base understanding of clients. What I mean by that is that it's going to take 3 months of clients, because clients come back for haircuts, some every 2 weeks, some every 4 weeks, but kids and things like that are going to come back every 6 to 8 weeks. So giving it a little bit of growing space, say a 3-month window for everyone locally who is willing to try you, to have tried you. And then in that time then, you're hoping that in the next 3 months they're going to return. So if they do like the experience, and they do like the service, and they do like the haircut, and they return then to you after the first 3 months, and then they tell a few other people, and they say, oh, actually, I go to this person now, he's quite good, actually, and the price is fair, you know, etc., word of mouth. So then by the third 3 months then, so we're coming up to like 9 months in the job now, you've got like 3 rotations of customers telling other customers, them then returning, telling the other customers who are returning, and then by the 12 months then, so by the fourth sort of third, then you've got a group of returning clients who are also telling other people who are then returning, and then after a year, if your skills are good enough and your personality and your shop presence is good enough, and you've covered everything that you need to do, that you've covered, then it would take about a year to start earning, as a self-employed barber, you know, a reasonable salary. We could be looking at anything from £300 to £400 a week on average. In certain areas, that could be more. If the other barbers in your shop are really busy and people just can't book in with them, then you might pick it up quicker, you know. But I always tell people to give yourself a 12-month window before you can expect to earn a full-time salary. But if you look at it, if you're self-employed, it's the same with any business. You know, any business person open up a new shop, they don't expect to make any money in the first year. And that's just how it is. But it takes that investment. Don't think of it, oh, I'm losing money or I'm not making money. Think of it as I'm investing into my business. I'm investing into my future. I'm taking time to learn my trade. I'm taking time to build a clientele. Because by year 2, if you've stuck at it, and you've been, you know, efficient with your skills and your service, and all the customers come back from year one, plus then you've got new customers coming all the time, you know, from word of mouth and from potentially overspill from other barbers. By year two then that's when you can start looking at making money as an established barber. And in the barbering industry, obviously there's a wide variety of costs and themes and standards. You know, you've got your barbershops that are your £12 to £15 barbershops all day long, and then you've got your higher end barbershops where you can expect to pay anything from £50 to £100 for a haircut, you know. But as a rule of thumb, as an established barber, you want to be doing at least 40 haircuts a week. So do the maths. If you're charging £20 a haircut, then you know roughly what you can expect to make as I'd say an averagely established barber. If you then, you know, become very popular, potentially win some competitions, or there's a lot of good word of mouth because you are seriously good at what you do, there's no reason why you can't be doing 50 to 60 haircuts a week. And then eventually then, once you get busier and busier and you can't fit people in, you put your prices up and put your prices up, and then that's how you then start making a lot more money. And there's no reason why, as an established, senior, more experienced barber, you can't be making anything from £1,000 to £1,500 a week. Bearing in mind though, there will be tax costs, but if you're self-employed, you can offset a lot of business-related expenses against your taxes, so you reduce then the amount you pay in tax. But there are business-related expenses. You know, whether you're doing your own advertising, whether you're going to buy new tools, new equipment, whether you buy a new product that you're selling, social media memberships and things you might want to pay for to give you a better standing when it comes to marketing and presenting yourself online and things. You know, there are costs. Fuel expenses, travel expenses, clothing expenses. Do you know what I mean? If you're making £1,000 a week, that £1,000 a week is not profit. Just be aware of that. You know, are you going to be a millionaire as a barber? Not unless you're entrepreneurial minded and you know how to set up successful shops. And you have about 20 shops, and yeah, maybe then you'll turn over £1 million. But as a barber, you know, cutting hair behind a chair, you know, it's not a job that's going to make you a millionaire, but it is a very satisfying, very rewarding job that pays a good rate. So, but look, there's no exact number that I can say, yes, you'll be making money in 3 months. The truth is, the more popular you are and the better your communication skills are, and the more people, more friends you have, you'll probably pick it up quicker, or you'll make money quicker. That's the truth of it. But starting off, you're looking at 12 months before you start making a full-time salary. So think that through before you decide going into barbering as a career. But if you're young, you're leaving school, you know, then you're going to go to college, university, then you're going to be another 2 or 3 years before you start making money anyway. You get into debt, you know. So if you think you want to be a barber before deciding whether you can go to college, university, then do it, because by the time other people are starting uni or just about finishing their course, depending on how late you start barbering, at that point you could be making money before they even start, you know. So if you leave school at 16 and go straight to college, well, by 18 then you'll be qualified. If you've done an apprenticeship, and you'd have been in a salon for 2 years, so that'd have been easier for you to build a clientele. There'd have been more people coming through the door, becoming familiar with you. You know, your boss or manager would have allowed you to potentially do some cuts on some people. So by the time you're 18, 19, everyone else is starting university. At this point, you're already making money. So by the time they finish in uni, you're 20, 21, 22, with a solid clientele and potentially turning over £800 a week. You know, if you're employed, you could be earning £400 or £500 a week as an employed rate, which is not to be snubbed, because what you got to think about is people think, oh, I want to be self-employed because I can charge more and make more money. You have a lot more responsibility when you're self-employed. When you're employed, you get sick pay, you get holiday pay, you get pension opportunities, and you don't have the worries of sorting out your tax returns. You don't have the worries of making sure the bills are paid and these sort of things. So you might think that employment barbering isn't as rewarding, but depending on what your lifestyle is, it can be a lot more rewarding. You know, if you don't mind the stresses of being self-employed and the responsibilities that come with it, then yeah, potentially you can earn a little bit more money, but it comes with a lot more work. Just be aware of that. So I hope that's helped. I hope I've covered some of your questions. If you have any more questions, please feel free to leave a comment. If you're watching on YouTube, if you're on Instagram, send me a message on Instagram. That's probably the best way of getting hold of me. And if you want to learn your barber trade quicker and have extra support as you're developing and learning your skills and building your clientele. Then I've also created an online training platform called the Barber Coach TV. It's www.thebarbercoachtv.com. It's $19.99 a month. If you use the coupon code TBC20, you get 20% off your monthly subscription. And on there I have a catalogue of educators creating great content, tutorials, cutting tutorials. I'm on there doing cutting tutorials, plus doing some extra talks and advice when it comes to the barbering industry. And it's like a Bible basically that holds your hand as your career develops, and as you develop as a barber. This will be there to support you. You know, there'll be different cutting. There's categories on there that cover all different cuts and styles. So if you're not that experienced with afro hair, you can go onto the afro hair category and watch a few videos before you approach your clients. If you're not very good at pattern work, there's videos on there for learning patterning skills and doing lines and tram lines and things. You know, there's a category on there for everything. So it's basically like a manual, a Bible that you can keep with you, that if you're stuck and you need something, you need that additional support, you can go onto the Barber Coach TV and then watch a video on there. So I hope you've enjoyed. I hope that makes sense. And please feel free to get in touch if you have any questions. Thank you very much.